just don't always lay right
Live
behind
stream
us.
is on.
All right, what's up, everyone?
Yo.
Hi, everyone.
How do you do?
Hey guys.
Pretty good. Timo, since you are never reading your Slack messages either, I'm going to publicly scold you for that, and then for being almost 4 weeks behind on your Notion page to keep track of your task.
Right.
Please update now.
Right, correct.
Correct.
You're the last one on the list, so you have plenty of time to update it while we go over it. Because I would suggest to you guys we look at them again, because I think last week and the week before that maybe either we didn't. But I do think it helps you guys to keep track of your goals, and especially it helps the others to maybe refresh their memory. What is currently he or she working on? Is there any blocker? Because if you guys want to go back in, or as you learn something during the week, which you think, oh, this might have been helpful for Archie, then you can go back in there, see if that's actually still relevant, or if you misremember it, this is from 3 weeks ago, right? So, little things here, just kind of keep your profile, keep it updated with, however much detail you think. I'll not tell you what to put, but I think it will help to keep track of at least a little bit. What am I planning on doing, and where is my current progress, kind of thing. All right. How's the week been generally? Anything you guys want to talk about before we go into individual check-ins?
Yeah, maybe something I can share is that it's being hard for me to, I guess, to get motivated to work on the side project. So I really need to. But anyway, there was an interaction. I'll report on that later on. This guy that helped me to write this barbecue app for the watch replied, and he gave really good insight. So that was really interesting. So, but anyway, I'll leave the details for later. But I guess in general, the struggle to work on the side project. That's really the problem.
Why do you think that is? I mean, because in part, of course, because you just started a new job, right? So I'm sure that's demanding.
Right. That's one, right? And I think that may be the primary reason, right? But I'm still passionate about cooking and so on, so I really want to dig further, right? It's just really now forcing, in a way, it's a test for me. It's just push myself to do it. That's the way I see it. But I think also I was looking for that extra kick in the back. And I think that email that I got from this guy was very helpful. So there was some action. But anyway, I'll get into the details later.
Okay.
Cool.
Anyone else struggle with that?
Yeah, me actually. I'm also, like, I have the feeling the closer I get to the goal of releasing it and everything, the less motivated I am. I don't know for what reason that is, but it's super strange, because I just see, okay, the goal comes closer and closer and closer, and somehow I have the feeling the stuff I have to do gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's I don't know, it's super strange. But
like now you gotta like you got the product ready to go, but maybe you're getting stuck at the, well, how do I grow this now? Maybe I don't know.
Well, if it would be even that, it would be fantastic. But yeah. I think there is still so much little things to do until we can go live.
Yeah.
And I mean, we had a quite productive, let's say, session over the weekend. It was okay. Well, it was not as productive as it could have been, but we tried our best, and I think we made some progress. But yeah, it's still far from finished, unfortunately. And there's only like 8 or 9 days left. But yeah, let's see. I mean, it's going to be interesting.
Would you like to present like what you think still needs to be done? And I chose my words carefully there, because there might be help from the group to prioritize.
Yeah, I can do that actually. let me check if everything's running. But yeah, I definitely can do that. I mean, I still have some time to prepare everything here, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I can.
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, right? For not just for you, Timo, for everyone, if you use this time, use this check-in with each other, to not hopefully feel like, oh, I need to update this because Sven is telling me so. Like, actually think about what could this group help you with, right? Prioritizing your list, especially if you're like a week out from your launch date. Last week we did that with Steve pretty well, I think, right? Looking at, his new venture or his new focus and kind of going over the big picture and then at least giving some feedback and, maybe you don't need to build all of that right away.
Yeah.
I think those are really the things where you can kind of help each other very, very well without having to know the specific details of the individual projects or even, it doesn't matter to the rest of you guys how much it takes to implement one feature, right? But if there are still 10, then maybe they don't need to be all there, for example.
Yeah. For my project, actually, I only have 2 features kind of that still need to be finished. But yeah, I can show you guys later.
Any other life struggles? Challenges, we call them.
The that company that I was going through for Babelbox, they're pretty much holding everything hostage right now.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh man.
So I'm like, so I just went to my bank. I said, I'm just gonna try to get a charge back on that stuff because I'm not gonna play the game. I told them, I actually have all the documented of what happened, the lack of communication. I just don't have anything still, And then today he shows me a little bit of work, and it's like, well, that's been 2 months.
Wait, they're still working on it? I thought you stopped it, right? You basically asked for the money back already.
Yeah, so I'm sure they put something together to show me, but it's too late. It's like I had stopped it, so dealing with that, but that's all right.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Too little, too late. Yeah, that's interesting. So I remember Justin asking when this ordeal all started for you, if you kind of want to leave a review for them, kind of calling them out on their shit. I have to second that notion. I think at this point.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Or at least just tweet at them. Tweet at them. It's like, hey guys, like a screenshot of their reply or something. It's like, hey guys, wanted to give you one more last chance, but this is not good customer service, something like that.
Yeah, no, you're
Don't
right.
have to be mean, just call it what it is.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
But I thought this company was subcontracting a third party to do the development. Was that the case?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I think they have workers in a different country. They're located in London. They operate out of London, but I think they use Ukrainian developers.
Okay.
So
what was it called again?
We Love No Code, and they have really great reviews, and they're on Product Hunt, and they have really great Product Hunt content and stuff. So just surprised at the lack of communication and just the service I got. I'm thinking maybe the project wasn't a good fit for the company, and I guess they just took too much. They bit too much off in the beginning, and I just didn't want it to go into 4 months and just keep paying and then have them keep delaying, basically, So just getting to the point where it's just going to get expensive, way too expensive.
Right, and I mean they need to be just honest about that, right? I mean, these things happen. You miscalculate, but then own up to it.
Yeah. Just that.
Yeah. So and they don't want to give you the money back now. Or what? That's I
had said all right. So I see some work. All right, guys. This is maybe $1,200 worth of work. a month worth.
Mm.
You can keep that. And they're like, you really think that is what that work is worth? I was like, yes. And I laid out why, on all the reasons as to I still don't have anything in my hands, and there was just lack of communication, and it's all documented in their platform on WhatsApp. So and an
I
email.
mean, they agreed on delivering like what you specified for them, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, for me, it would be like, okay, if you didn't deliver that, then it's worth $0 basically.
Yeah.
And other than that, it's like, yeah, 4,000. That's what you get.
Yeah.
I mean, there is no in between or anything.
Yeah.
It was the same. I had like a tax. How can I say, tax lawyer, tax attorney? I don't know.
Oh, really?
Who I went to, and I wanted to have some like information about like working in general, like in Germany and overseas and everything. How can I best, like, what would be the best models and stuff?
Mm.
And basically, he totally misunderstood my questions, and he sent me a huge bill afterwards. And basically, I had nothing. Then he just wrote me like a big letter of 9 pages. How does working in Germany work?
Oh,
Basically, yeah, okay, I know that already. Thank you very much. That's useless. So I didn't pay him, and then they tried to sue me and everything, but yeah, it didn't work. I mean,
yeah.
Idiots. Seriously, there are like so many idiots in the world.
No good like customer service sense, no like
No, yeah,
emotional EQ or anything,
yeah, but you paid them already, did
Yeah.
you? Or
Yeah.
yeah, that's a little bit tricky then, right?
Yeah. Let's see what happens. I disputed it with my bank, so they're gonna investigate it. Then my bank is always pretty good with me, so.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Cool.
Well, I guess we can start.
All right. I think you should. I don't know actually.
Yeah.
If you want to individually share, because it sounded like Timo probably would want to share something else, but just the Notion page. So maybe just you guys share individually, and then you can show us whatever is relevant. You want to start, Steve?
Yeah. I mean,
you probably have something to show too, right? Based on all of the progress we had last week already, I imagine.
Well,
now you set the bar high,
Yeah, I know. I mean, this past week was basically me kind of laying out the concept a little more and documenting it. I sent out. I'm trying to set up the meeting with the parties within the church that I'm speaking to. So I'm trying to get everyone in one room. So that is a goal for next week. And then I will use that meeting to try to flesh out the features and whatnot based on what they come back with, and the back and forth that we go through in terms of like the concept and how they're going to use it, what would be essential for a version 1. And then, this next week is also going to be me thinking about the growth strategies, since I have basically like 3 types of users. I have the church, like the business back end of the church, and then I have the members, the attendees of the church who are going to be using part of the platform. And then I have the organizations like missionaries and organizations that take donations and whatnot for their cause. So I'm figuring out the best route to go about that, figuring out, the first step into getting an actual organization to, once I have things ready to go, to sign up, to agree to sign up and to kind of test this out with me, And I think the church has really good associations or partnerships, already that I can tap into. So a lot of it is going to be me just trying to really use some like have some business sense here, you know, and try to make partnerships and develop relationships with people in order to have at least this church on board. You know, if I can get the church on board to use it, and then have one of their partners or missions that they're a part of sign up as well, that's going to be a really great start, I think. Really good first step into just getting the product out there and someone using it, and actually start to develop the business model. So there's that, and then
I agree. I think if you can do that, even getting their agreement before you even start building anything, like now, right? That seems like a logical next step, getting them to potentially sign an agreement, right? Where with a future launch date.
Yeah, I should probably put it like in stone somewhere and do it.
If you want to look for, I can send you a link to it. I'm pretty sure it's from Y Combinator. It's like a SaaS contract kind of boilerplate or suggestion. You need to, of course, read it carefully and maybe adjust it somewhat, especially with the delivery, whatever the delivery is for you. But that is a good kind of proven, somewhat simple, contracts can be fairly complicated.
Yeah,
it's a good starting point. I used that in the past, actually, for SaaS deals.
Oh, really? Cool. Yeah, and then I actually, I was talking to someone, who has more of a technical mind than I do, and I think they said they can offer me like a few hours a week, just to help manage the technical side and just to watch things, basically. And they want us, to recommend, like, to see what the developers might use in terms of a tech stack and what his recommendations would be based on his experience. And he seems like a really astute guy who has, like, all the necessary components needed for like a technical, like, manager, basically, for a project. So I think he's going to do it for free, but I'm willing to pay him, just, for his time, a few hours a week. So, I mean, that's key for me right now. So, getting those relationships down. The next
See if you can align on the upside, right? So I think as early stage founders, we always think about the first thing which usually comes to mind is sweat equity, right? Like, so pay the early contributors or even co-founders with equity. The second thing is, of course, pay them with actual dollars if you can. The third thing is think about the upside and see if you can kind of get creative around. I have seen this a couple times, not very often, actually. But if you really are both excited about it, and there is a significant value from having, that partnership, then align on the upside and say, hey, look, if we do this together, if you help me manage the tech team, I'll pay for the tech team. But if you help me manage it and it makes a big difference, then let's try to get to the first X customers together and we split the revenue for a certain amount of time, right? That's always a really interesting way to ensure that whoever you bring on, and then you will really quickly know if they are aligned with you, right? Because if you're getting something from whenever this thing starts to make money, then you're going to do everything to get it there as quickly as possible.
Okay. Yeah. That's a pretty cool option. I do know that he has, he's building out a platform, church tech platform, on his own. And I had reached out to him in the past, and I had forgotten that maybe I can even do a sort of thing where I help him out, try to grow his thing and try to flesh out his marketing and his brand and his general, like, message of the product and where I think it should go. Maybe I could do that as well, because I know he did want to discuss his project as well. but I never ended up doing that on the phone call. So, but maybe I could do it that way too. But yeah, that's a cool option. So yeah,
that'd be great.
that's pretty much
You know, I like the word like church tech, like fintech.
Yeah.
Is that
I really
is that
don't
how you
know,
define
yeah.
it?
Like
yeah,
for-
the church tech is cool.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know
because
if it's a coin term or anything. Like I know there's like redemptive businesses, and there's ministry tech. I don't know which one to really use. I don't know. So church tech.
I definitely heard.
Cool.
Yeah.
I definitely heard faith tech before, many times.
Okay.
Yeah, that's actually they're a pretty large community, and I'm part of that community. That's where I found the kid who might help me out. So yeah.
So if he's interested, or if you guys are ending up working together, and if you have your individual projects, if the rest is open to it, of course, here there might be an option for him to potentially join this group or a group such as this.
Yeah.
Right. Or hell, if you find a couple more in the faith tech community who are all having their own projects, let's see if there is a cohort we can run or a peer group we could open. Try to share the upside we are having in this environment.
Yeah, I know. I think I shared the first couple of like ones that we had together, like the first ones where we're actually building. But yeah, that's a good idea. I'll try to spin it in a way like to have like I don't want to say a faith based
CoStarting
or anything, but something where they can focus on and get some insight, in terms of their projects. Because I know a lot of them are very technical, and I guess I know that would be beneficial to them.
Cool. Awesome. Well, sounds like you're making pretty good progress. Stay focused, right? Stay focused on that. What are you looking? Why are you looking like that?
Oh, you didn't hear that?
No.
Some tab just started like blasting crazy music. Whatever. Glad you didn't hear it.
Cool. So, Justin, how are you doing? Oh, wait. Sorry, Justin. We just have to give you shit if you're bailing on us last minute. Not cool, man. Not cool.
Justin, where are you?
Yeah, you better have
maybe
a good reason.
listening.
Yeah.
Maybe watching the video.
He's watching. That'd be funny. All right, we skip over Optionator. He did say he had, he did do that, what we said last time, right? At least if you have, if you can't make it, deliver a quick update at the very least so we can share it on the call with everyone who might be interested. He didn't update his Notion, so I don't think there's anything new there, but he did say he has one more sale, so,
Yes, I heard.
Little, but not bad, not bad.
No, not at all.
So then, Emmy,
Yay.
what's up with Giglet's garments?
Well, I made a video today and I liked it. Thought it was pretty cool. And it was about this little bag that I made. Yeah, I'm unfortunately doing a lot of bouncing around with new stuff to make to kind of procrastinate a little bit. So that's unfortunate, but it's also because like I'm hoping I land on something that is gonna like somebody's gonna resonate with, and I'm gonna get some kind of like validation that something, because like now I have some cats and they're on Etsy and they're still like going, and and if all of a sudden people would love the cats, then I would focus on that. But it's like they didn't take off, so what else is there? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
Your photos look cool on your the photos you're taking, the close-ups, like with the hand and the purse.
oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, those turned out nice.
It's really cool. And you shot the video in the bus already, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of living there now.
Well, I shot video in the living room earlier, and it was like super echoey, and I could hear Sven in the background, so I just left.
I'm too loud.
Yeah. I sold a vintage Chanel jacket for $425 on Poshmark, so that was cool.
Oh wow.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah, I've had that for a couple years. Definitely takes the right person to buy it, but that was exciting.
Wait, you said Poshmart? I like the name.
Poshmark
Cool names are
with a K.
Poshmart. Okay.
Yeah, that's the only place that I really sell things that I didn't make anymore.
Okay.
So that's good because it helps me kind of fund my life, of course. And the things that I'm more passionate about, which is the upcycling. I have been thinking about this, like the thing that we talked about a little bit last week, the kind of, I guess it's a platform, like a knitting, like the thing that like old ladies can be knitting these upcycled stuff and like selling it right for a commission or whatever. The idea that I think Sven was talking about it. But it's also like scary. I have no idea what I feel like that's a lot more like businessy, and I would have no idea what I was doing. So
describe that, what that is in your mind right now, because when I hear platform, personally, I think tech platform.
Yeah.
Like eBay.
That's why I don't think it is exactly that, but it's like like having, so my company hypothetically would upcycle textiles into like t-shirt yarn or whatever, and we would have patterns for things, and we would like employer commission or something people who knit or crochet to make the things, and people would buy them.
That makes sense.
But then, like, why wouldn't people just? I don't know.
I mean, think of it as like a side hustle for people, who want to make extra cash doing.
Yeah, that's
knitting,
what I was thinking.
and
Yeah.
like knitting and sewing. A whole community of knitting and sewers who want to make a little extra cash.
And like, there's tons, and it's kind of like it's widely known that people don't do that well, like selling their own stuff on Etsy and stuff like that. Like, I mean, Sven's mom is an amazing knitter, and she has not a lot of luck selling her stuff.
Yeah, she's also not trying. Yeah, that's usually the problem.
Yeah, maybe you start with Sven's mom, have her make something, and just like a test, like come up with your process. I think that'll like, I get someone on, I give them a pattern, they make it. Once I sell it, they get so much cash. They get a percentage of the sale. Bam, there's your process. And then maybe put that into a platform, an actual tech platform. Maybe you develop a whole community for this. Maybe you become the Uber of sewing and knitting, and just like side hustle. And then maybe go to what are they called? You know, the homes where the old people go to be.
Yeah, I was thinking too.
Just
Yeah.
go there and present something. I'm pretty sure someone's dying to make something. Present like, hey, if you want to make stuff and make some extra cash. I don't know what their incentive would be, but yeah. And just get one old lady on and just help them along the way. I know that would be kind of a headache, but I'm sure there's a younger demographic there that's gonna.
But there's also like the fact that like they don't understand the internet, right? So they need someone to facilitate that connection point and utilize those skills that they have. There's a lot of people who are, I mean, I joined this knitting group the other day on Facebook, and the things people are making are just insane.
Yeah.
Insanely talented.
So,
anyway,
where are they selling? Are they? I know there's Etsy and everything, but there's got to be something where you can just like niche it down to just like knitting and sewing market, you know, and like you be the market.
Right.
And
Etsy is probably your leading edge on that stuff, but
yeah, like,
so
but it's a lot of work, you know. So you have to charge for some of these pieces. Take dozens of hours to complete. So, I don't know. That would be, I think, one of the problems too with I wouldn't want to undersell the people who are doing the knitting, you know, and not paying them what I know they deserve, but I feel like it would be inevitable that people don't want to pay that much for a hand knit rug or bag or whatever. I mean, I have no idea, so I'm just kind of like just grasping at this point, but
like first of all, your problem will shift, right? And we can take this offline to do a deep dive on that as well if you want. But your problem will shift because now you need to be the place where, like, the brand, right? Like, if that's a platform or not is actually secondary, I think, personally. But you need to be the brand people know and come to for handmade. I think you don't even necessarily have to limit yourself to knitting and sewing, but yes, that's where you're starting. But handmade, upcycled things, right?
Yeah.
And that's go ahead.
Sorry, and I was just saying that that's it. Like Etsy does a ton of other things, and you can just snatch that market and like develop something really cool, you know.
But then your job then is to build that brand, right? Like you are not going to make anything anymore, at least not until that brand is established, right? Like, but you still will need to, because of course that is also what you are selling to the people who now are following that brand or participating in that brand, right? So it's a little bit complicated of a business model, but I think it could be doable, and I think we could experiment with it, right? Like, actually, again, COVID, not the best, but maybe in a year from now, I do agree with Steve. Like, going to a retirement home and saying, so like in my mind, I guess as you guys were talking about it, the model shapes up to something like this. Giglit's Garments comes up with a line of things, right? Like the cats, like the purse, like whatever. And it's not just a pattern, it's also what materials are going to be used for that. Where are those materials coming from? How are they sourced? You might be the provider of those materials, right? Or certainly you will at least have the relationships to the Goodwills, to whatever, wherever this stuff comes from. And that all goes into that, right? And that if you work with retirement homes, which I'm sure there's a whole plethora of problems we don't even understand right now in doing this, but let's just say we work with a pool of elderly, however we have that partnership established, then they get all of the materials provided. This is actually, probably you could spin this and potentially maybe even get grants or subsidies for it, because this is an activity you provide for them, right? Could be beneficial or therapeutic. We'll figure all that out.
Yeah.
I mean, you laugh, right? But I guarantee you there is something there. I guarantee it. And if nothing else, if they just like it, if it's not therapeutic, if just the 3% of the population in the retirement home, they just like doing it, it's still going to be great because it beats sitting in front of the TV, right, for them. So it is therapeutic. And now you have the story we always talk about for Giglets garments. Every single item now has what is it made of, where did this stuff come from, what impact did it make, right, that it's not being discarded, and who made it. It's Granny Faye made it, right? You know, like somehow, I mean, that now this is something.
Yeah. Because now it's not, I'm building a business to make money. I'm building a business to make an impact. And that's I have a why now.
Right. And it can, right? Like, I think the money, like how that's priced, I agree that's going to be tricky to figure out. But most of that money will go to the individual in that, like the maker, right?
Yeah.
And you are just going to facilitate. And unfortunately, from a capitalistic perspective, that business needs to make as little money as it can, right? Because otherwise, it's just going to not look right.
Yeah.
But that's fine, right? Like that's fine if you're growing this and the business is never going to make $1 billion, but you can pay yourself $100,000 or $200,000 a year because you run the business. That's fine. I think that's much closer to with your values anyway.
On top of that, you can even accept Dogecoin.
Yeah, exactly. Which every retiree needs.
Exactly.
Cool. Yeah, I think this is interesting. I almost think this is so interesting that it might warrant a separate deep dive session across CoStarting with anyone who just wants to participate and kind of brainstorm on this.
No, it'd be fun.
It sounds good, actually. Yeah, I like it too.
Let's do that. Let's set something for like that up, because we across the cohorts and from everyone else, we get more and more requests for kind of deep dives into specific topics.
Do like a brain dump somewhere.
Right, and just like almost like a hackathon style, but we're not building software, but we're actually trying to put together this business model and like the early brainstorming for what does this mean?
Super helpful too, because like I said, I have no idea where I would start past maybe making a couple patterns and sending some t-shirt yarn to your mom and saying, can you try to make this?
Yeah.
It's almost like you could try to pre-sell them too, pre-sell a certain number of each item, come up with things that people like, the cats and then the purses, and then like try to pre-sell like 5 and make it kind of exclusive at first. And like tell that story that Sven was talking about for each of these products.
Yeah.
I would say do create a little Loom video for a call for collaboration for this deep dive, where you kind of describe what we just talked about, that general idea, where you say, hey, one of the directions I would like to explore for Giglets garments is this. I need your help because I can't see the forest because of all the trees, right? I need help getting some clarity into this. It has all of these aspects, all of the things we just talked about. I know very little about most of them. Who wants to join in and do a brainstorming session and kind of try to dissect this business idea? That'd be fun.
That'd be real cool.
Yeah.
I probably need to stay away from that because I'll just keep jumping in myself the entire time.
So, Amy, have you heard of recycledfirefighter.com? It's
Is that the Shark Tank
company.
one?
I don't
Is
think
it?
so.
Okay. I heard about it through one of the guys from Mythbusters. He has a YouTube channel that I'm subscribed to. And he was talking about this company And it's interesting because they recycle the fire hoses and other materials that firefighters use. And it seems to be very popular and very well received. Also, kind of the mission that they have. So it reminds me of these guys.
That's cool. Interesting.
It might not be it, but there is one which was on Shark Tank. Very similar to that.
They have cool stuff, actually.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's cool. And the material, the material must be also must feel good in the hands as well, like rugged materials, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's got to be super high quality if it's a fire hose.
Yeah.
Can't have that ripping.
There was this other one too. I mean, I think we watched this together. The workout bags made out of the hoses, like sand filled. Remember that?
Oh yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, that was kind of, I don't know.
That was very weird.
I mean, who can say for himself that his backpack probably saved some lives already? It's amazing.
All right.
There's another company too, Rareform. I have their duffel bag that they take down old billboards and turn them into bags, and they're super cool, like one of a kind. Really neat bags. I love that whole area.
Yeah, but that is a good point. And it's funny that you found that coincidentally, Arky, because it is basically a similar model, right? Different industry, but there is a couple. I vaguely remember there's a couple which was on Shark Tank, which were on Shark Tank in the past. I feel like there was one which actually did employ elderly people as well. I don't remember what they made. But we should dive into that. That should be part of your market research.
Cool.
All right. Yeah, that's cool. That you should set yourself a goal for that specific topic for until next week, and kind of try to dissect that, or if maybe that deep dive set up by next week would be cool.
Yeah, I'll definitely make the Loom video.
All right. Arky,
So
how are you doing?
I'll go next. Good. So I got this feedback from my how do you call it, like co-author for this barbecue app, and I told him the story of all this journey, right? And he said, "Oh, well, that sounds interesting." And about your latest idea, right, on, let's say, creating this app where people can create competitions for cooking. Yeah, he agrees, and sort of that was my guess, right? We've discussed this here as well, that maybe cooking competitions are not a big thing. But he said, but what if you could, in a way, gamify recipe sharing, right? This idea of having a social network for recipes. And well, I mean, that sounded good. That triggered some interest from my side. Then I went into the Apple App Store, and guess what? There are like at least 10 social media apps for cooking, right? Or people that share recipes. It's too bad. But also what I thought, right, is maybe the angle to this is to go like a niche. It's either vegan, as you pointed out, Sven. That can be, if there is a lack of support for or apps for vegan food, that could be one. But then I thought, well, since I'm not a vegan, it's hard for me to be into something that I'm not, right? So
well, easy. Just go vegan.
Right. That's an option, right? To try it out at least, right? But the other one would be barbecue. But again, it's just a category. But then it hit me, and then I did a quick search, and I didn't find any single one for this category. Like we talked about this too, dry rubs for barbecue. At the end of the day, all these dry rubs is just basic ingredients like salt, pepper, paprika, garlic powder, and onion powder, and ingredients like this, right? And of course, people make businesses around them, but they sell the physical thing. They sell you already the bottle, and I mean, the profit margins there must be, great because it's just powders that you buy on the supermarket. But then what if you opened up this kind of open source dry rub industry, right? These share the dry rubs and people can vote for dry rubs. And I think that would be a very niche thing that this app could come and do an impact. So from that point of view, I guess the most basic thing I need to do is to develop an interface that let people add ingredients or dry rubs into the dry rub recipe and share it. Right. So it sounds very simple. It's super
so many
simple.
puns.
And the fact,
so many puns. I'm trying not to say right now.
So
Grow up,
that's
man.
the thing. I think it's a unique angle to this that I think may work. So again, it's just do the basics. Start with a simple interface that would let people put in their ingredients and call it something. Then post it to the rest of the users and let people vote and maybe comment. That's a future feature. But I think that would be a social network for dry rubs.
That's cool.
I would definitely install that and maybe pay $1.99 for it if it existed. I would be all over it because I'd rather pay $1.99 than pay $7 for a little bottle that I'm going to finish in one,
Or you
one
take
round.
Or you take like a famous rub that's on the shelves and you break that down, and you give the recipe to people.
Right, because I think the nutritional information lists all the ingredients that
they're trying to mimic
the
it.
rub must have. Right, and I think a variant of that would be, since I'm Mexican, a salsa app.
Ooh,
right?
Carne
I think that could be a sister app with the same principle, but rather than sharing dry rubs, these are wet rubs in a way, right?
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
right.
Archie, this is
salsa.
Basically what you're touching on is it's huge right now, right? It's curation. Because, and I talked about this a bunch of times over the last couple months about different topics. There is value, there's inherent value in curation. Because all of this information, of course, it's out there. Of course, you can find it. It's on YouTube, it's on Facebook, it's wherever. But it's time consuming and it's annoying to try to find it. If you can make something very niche, and I wouldn't even call it a social network. It's just a dry rub lovers app.
Right.
Right. And like, I think what you need to think about in the beginning though is like, how do you seed it? What's the initial, what's already there for people to go there, right? And that is you, because you're passionate about dry rubs. So you're gonna review all of them. You're gonna try them all. You're gonna try to copy the popular ones. That content is going to be in the app. And what's amazing is that you already identified that you could do 50 different ones with the exact same app, right? Which just have slightly different content. Now, of course, you won't be able to do it because the community leader, in this case you, will need to drive most of it until there's critical mass, right? And then you can facilitate with the application, of course, itself. But that's cool.
But it is cool. Yeah, and also link this into my Instagram account. I think probably I have the feeling that then people would at least click and check it out, right? Because everything else was just kind of very ill-defined. In this case, there is a big community of people that love barbecue, and we're constantly looking for these dry rubs.
I just send you a domain name. It's still free, by the way.
It already exists?
No, it's still free.
Okay, yeah.
Oh no.
I was thinking dryrub.me.
No, but I think this may be it, and I think look, if I put my energy to it, I think I can have the MVP pretty soon and launch, and that's it. Let's see how the people respond to it. And you are right, absolutely. Bootstrapping it would be myself. I don't mind doing this because I love this stuff, right?
Yeah,
it would be a fun thing for me to do. And also, there are so many variants. And again, maybe I'm overusing this notion of social app or social network for it. But what I mean is that the ability for others to try it out and vote, give their rating, in the future, maybe comments and so on to make it interactive. But also the interesting thing about all this is that the visual aspect is as important as how it tastes, because different rubs really create different textures in the surface of the food. Depends on how you cook it, but that's also part of the experience, right? It's not the taste, but the texture of these rubs. So I think the visual aspect, maybe uploading a picture of how it looks when it's cooked, I think that would be interesting.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, go explore it. I think
Right.
there's a lot more in this space. I thought actually in the beginning when you started talking, I like this might be. Tell me if that's similar for the barbecue space. Being vegan, I still see value in something which I actually just wrote down an idea a couple of weeks ago about this, which gives me something to cook. Right, like just recipe ideas again, like just your daily idea or something. Maybe the business model is you get a daily idea for free. If you don't like it, you can refresh it. You can buy refresh or something, right? But the key is also that you never have the ingredients. We talked about this before. So what would be cool is if you could pair it with a delivery service. Now that's where it gets really complicated because that doesn't exist. Like Instacart doesn't have an API. That's what I was looking into, right? Like if it was a delivery, not a meal delivery service where you have to order your packages, but it's a recipe service which does meal planning maybe even ahead of time for the entire week, and then you can automatically order the ingredients on Instacart. Jesus, every time, right? Something like that would be super useful, and it doesn't matter what your dietary restrictions are. It's just different niches. Again, right. It's the logistics of the ordering part is the problem. But I still think I would pay 99 cents for an app, which they probably do exist, but which gives me a vegan recommendation every day.
Mm-hmm.
Just
right.
to try something new, every now and then.
Right. What I like from your idea is basically that you're going into a very specific thing. It's basically the niche of a niche or something like this. It's really cool because I've never thought of that, but it's amazing. People they think kind of in their big picture. Okay, vegan. That's a big picture kind of, or barbecue or meat only, whatever. That's also super big picture in my opinion. But like, for example, if you just this dry rub, I actually here in Germany, I think you don't even use that. So I think that's an American thing, but it's fine. But what I could think of as well is like in general, like sauces, like many kind of sauces. There are like so many and they all taste different. And let's be honest, like your meal, like 90% of the taste is just the spices and maybe the sauce or whatever. So it's like it's not even the main ingredients that make the taste. So
well, I was just thinking really too. Cool. I use like dry rubs on tofu and shit. Like that would be cool to have it. You could even try it out on like these different items and
yeah, that's really amazing.
Right, exactly.
Dry rub your tofu turkey.
Right.
And you make it separate apps, right? Like you literally make it separate apps for the different specialties.
Clone it, clone it, change the icons to make now sauces or saladas, and that's it, right?
Saucelover.com.
Did you think about how that could make money yet, or not important yet?
So I would say, for example, the dry rub thing, I would just sell it for a fixed amount, $2 or $1.99. That's it, right? See what happens. Because I think the subscription models for something like this, I mean, now as the potential user, I put myself into that. I would rather pay $1.99 and have it. That's it. Access to all the recipes and the ability to vote and upload my own if I want to. But a subscription it would be a no-go for me. So I think it's just an app. The way I see it is just an app that happens to aggregate aggregate all these dry rubs, and hopefully people find value in it and people install it, right, and buy it.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And that, like, we can talk about the variations of the business model. Even if it's a straight up sell, you could do, you could still do a freemium model where you get, or like a trial, you get access at first. Like, that's more the marketing questions we can explore later.
Okay.
But I think it makes total sense if that's something you could be excited about for a couple months or years, and just being the expert. And then as others are coming on, they're becoming content drivers. I already see a couple business model inside the app eventually, right? There could be those marketplaces and stuff like that inside. There's angles which can be monetized, I believe.
That's super interesting too, because also in a way, I said open sourcing the dry rub business, but on the other hand, rather than do it yourself, there may be vendors of dry rubs with their own brands that could sell their stuff online, right? Right, yeah. Or just directly buy it from there through the app or whatever. So I think there is also a place to accommodate people who have put the work into creating these rubs and a nice packaging, and maybe they are well known, that now could be on that app and sell directly to customers.
Right. Yeah. Or you integrate a little bit of a donation kind of thing, like buymeacoffee.com, where it's only in your app, right? Where you can just appreciate someone else's recipe, and then you take 2% of that or something, because you facilitate a transaction, or I don't know. There's plenty of ideas,
cool.
right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So maybe I'll bring this up maybe for the business model starting next week. But I think for this week, my commitment is going to be to just do the bare bone form to add ingredients and have it presented in a dashboard. That's it.
You should go on Instagram and like try to see if you can talk to like any dry rub guys, on Instagram, and see what they think about like coming onto your like a platform like this.
Yeah.
I mean, you could.
That's a good idea.
You can make an Instagram clone, and then you have the recipe side as well, and then you have like the social side, and then I don't know, go from there.
Yeah, I think that's what I was going to suggest too, right? Think about a little bit about the UI and UX over the next week. I think what you would want to see, and I don't know, take a piece of paper, or use InVision or SketchUp or something, and just not SketchUp. That's for 3D modeling, but one of the tools, right? There's many, and that you can then go test with those people.
Yeah, I think people would totally hop on that if you just said, "Hey, I'm making this. What do you think?"
Sounds good, guys. Thank you.
No more feedback now.
No, I'm just looking at the time. I consume too much.
Yeah, that's good though. That's good sign. That good idea, I guess. All right, Timo, make it quick.
Yeah.
No. We're good. This is your guys' time, of course.
Anyways, probably. Okay, I'll show my screen real quick. All right. So, can you guys see me, or my screen, basically? Cool. Yeah. Well, here it looks pretty. How can I say? Pretty poor. But yeah, it's not as bad as it looks actually, from my commitments here. But I think I have to cut the testing a little bit when I'm live. That's what I thought. But I'll show you the progress real quick, and what I think is still to be done until it can go live. So basically, this is the platform. You already know it, I think. Here we have the these manuals. This is still like work in progress, kind of. And I still have to dissect every section here and put it somewhere on the side. This is one thing that needs to be done. So people don't just stare at empty pages and ask themselves, okay, yeah, what can I do here? So I still need to give them a little bit of context. I think that's very important. But correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, that might help users. Then from the scene perspective, I would say it's in a state where I can live with. I want to, for example, yeah, I just can show you real quick. I can, for example, I don't know, here I can upload picture. I don't know. These are just random Instagram pictures, whatever. Just to make a mood board here. Now, yeah, you see, for example, you have no response at all. It was just loading, but you didn't see like a spinner or anything. And now the picture's also too big already. I need to work on that a little bit. It's like small refinements that need to be done.
That's cool though.
Here, for example, you can change the color and then you make I don't know, you make some sort of mood. You can put more in your mood board, and then I played a little bit with the options I had for the colors here, because I want to represent them here a little bit. And the best thing I came up with is put it here in the text where you write, but actually I don't like it so much. It wasn't quite nice when I put it here in the background. It just didn't look good. I mean, what I implemented, you see, also buggy. The picture is gone now. Wonderful. So, for example, when I make this dark, then yeah, the color at least adjusts here.
Oh, cool.
So you can always see it. So it takes the brightness level. But this is also like small features that probably nobody cares about, but I thought there might be important. And yeah, I didn't find a better way how to represent the color here. Maybe I could use it in this icon here, but then maybe it's too little. I don't know. It's for me the whole design thingy is not really what I would like.
Timo,
yeah.
what's the value add of this whole feature? Forget about the color, if the color is right, or where the color is.
Yeah, the whole feature. This is basically where you write your stuff in a, let's say, in a scene fashion. You know, you write a scene, or maybe you call it a chapter or whatever, or maybe a page. I don't know. You just
but the mood board itself, like setting the mood, right?
Yeah,
can that be something which could be in version 1.1?
Yeah, maybe it could, but I would like it like to have it actually.
What if you made, I mean, just like accented the background and then made like where you're putting the text another white box, and maybe just like on the back, the complete background, just make the color, you know?
Yeah, that's what I did, but it really didn't look good.
Okay.
Because you have small things here, for example. Then you have like this stuff here, all the bar and everything, and especially this here is you need to change this in a color that fits with the background, because otherwise it looks super ridiculous. It's like it's really not nice. Maybe I can just leave the color out totally, and you can just see it here when you open this. I don't know, that could be an option, maybe.
But so everything which is design heavy is super easy to A/B test once you have customers.
Yeah, probably you're right.
So yeah, I mean, again, right? Just ask yourself. Don't ask yourself what you would like to have. That is the wrong approach. Ask yourself, what is the value the customer will get out of? If that is essential, you know, if you determine, or if you kind of ask a couple of your followers, is that essential? Then sure. But version 1, remember, only the essentials.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe
what are the bells and whistles you can cut for now in order to make your deadline? Because you also know, most likely on your deadline, you're not going to have 1 million users right away. So it's not going to be the end of the world not having it perfect, but it's going to be there. And maybe it's going to be like Justin's, that overnight you're actually going to get 4 paid users or 4 users, or, you know, whatever it is for you. And then you are gonna fix the little things, because at that point you will be back to motivation, now you want to make your users proud, right? And you can ask them.
Yeah, you can like maybe just leave it like it is. I mean, because it sounds to me like you want to be like the writing tool that evokes emotion, you know. So maybe
Yeah,
just
that would be good, at least if you have like, if you can see it immediately somehow.
maybe leaving it there and just like having your first users kind of like, you know, gauge what that is, you know, just kind of like see what they do with it. I mean, and it's just like having like the idea of the things that you want, like a very light version of it in the first version, and seeing how it plays out.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't want to spend too much time anymore into this, because like this, like most of the struggles I had here were like just design thingies, and yeah, that's a thing I'm not super good at, to be honest. So yeah, I think I'll just leave that out. I'll just put it behind this button here, and if people use it, then good. If they don't use it, then maybe I'll remove it. But yeah, maybe that's a good approach. I'll just try that. I think
you have the idea of what you want. I mean,
yeah.
So I mean, eventually you're gonna get something really, really cool down. But I think that's gonna take you just getting a user in there and just kind of like helping you out, flesh it out, maybe.
Yeah.
See what they like.
And
yeah, I agree.
So there, these are the two
Timo,
things.
just one question. So you were mentioning, right, that as you get closer to release, maybe you stop finding you don't have the motivation to keep going. But also, I see that at this point in time, every new feature is like significantly more complex than what it was on the at the beginning, right? So I think that may be a reason that now just adding one feature takes way much effort. Yeah.
Yeah, that might be true. In the beginning was like everything went super smooth because I just focused a lot on the, let's say, on the architecture of the whole thing, which is something that I really liked. So there was like, it was cool and was fun and everything. And now there come the things that I struggle a little bit with, which is the design of the whole thing. And yeah, I feel like that's really, how can I say, really exhausting. So yeah, maybe I should really not focus too much on the design and just release it in a, let's say, usable way. And then if people complain, then I can still fix it, I think.
Do you have any buddies who are in designing and just take a quick look and make?
Yeah, I have friends. The problem is, or at least like one friend who's a really good designer, but he just got a kid recently, so he doesn't really have time anymore, I think. But I will try to consult with him at some point.
Yeah.
But
or have someone like just some random dude like on Twitter or something, or just put a message,
maybe.
You know, hey, I'm looking for somebody just to take a look. You know.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe that's a good
but
idea.
Also, your design is not that bad, right? Like, so I think you are really just overthinking it, man. It's that simple.
Hopefully.
I think you're back to it needs to be perfect before anyone can see it. But we talked about this before, right? For your specific project, just start with an alpha or a beta.
Yeah, maybe.
People know that those are not perfect products. They're not even paying for it yet. You're not even charging for it yet. So it doesn't matter. Get the feedback from the people and then stop building things you think are going to be the things they want and start listening to them and build those. Right?
Yeah, you're right, actually. That's
what is it? What is like really think don't be the engineer who built it right now. Think about your product, you know your product. What is it that still needs to be done for it to make sense for someone to use it?
Yeah, there is one more thing that I wanted to show you, which is basically this section here. This is I cannot show you the whole thing yet because my teammate is currently working on that, and I don't have his branch right now because he didn't push it. So
Stefan.
yeah, it's fine. But what I want here, basically, this is just an editor, where you just write your text. So actually, I envision basically that the text from the scenes you put in there, you can just easily represent it here into a whole story. But there's a little bit more to it, because in the beginning, when you write a story, you want to start with like at least some sort of outline. You choose a structure of your story or a template. Like common templates would be, for example, Hero's Journey. I don't know if you know this. But there are like many different things depending on what type of story you write. And we have some sort of we have a couple of templates now that you can choose from, and then you get basically let's say your acts in here, and then you can just outline them. Like and there should be some examples which come from this writer manual text, which I want to implement here. But yeah, so first of all, I want some like outlines with story templates that already kind of exist, and then I just need to duplicate this part, or at least multiply it a little bit for, like, let's say at least the first draft, the second draft, and the final draft. That you have this in like one view. But this is what you would get here, and then I think the whole thing would be releasable.
Oh, cool.
in the thing. And what we have here now, this is also kind of a cool feature, I think. For example, here you see Batman. This is highlighted, and if I click on it, it goes to the character that I had defined, which is Batman, for example. And I can do that, let's say, for example, for the Joker as well. This is also something that's not finished yet. You see, like, small things, but there would be the icon, and then you choose this, and of course the color is also not right here, but then you click link, for example, and then you select from your characters, let's say you want to connect it to the Joker, and then it connects like all of the thingies in here, and then you get the character that you have
That's cool.
connected
Yeah,
here.
that's pretty awesome.
And yeah, but and the same goes, of course, for locations and items. We have that already, but it's just not here in. Oops. Yeah, again, that's also a bug, a small one. I cannot click on the word without opening the thing now, so I cannot change the word anymore. That's not super useful for people if they want to use it later. But you see, there's like small things that I feel like need to be fixed still.
Timo, just quickly, it has nothing to do with the struggle right now you have, but we talked about this before, and it's not your style, but I do still want to say it again. I think documenting this progress and showing these updates would be by a couple of orders of magnitude more interesting on your Instagram or YouTube or whatever than, well, most general updates. Like, I think this is super cool, and I think to get your potential customers excited, it doesn't have to function fully yet.
They get the idea.
Yeah, like just once a week, make a little, hey guys, and look at Martin from the last cohort. He does that on YouTube very well, like just talking about his own product, what feature he just built. It's super powerful. I really think this can be a great driver for your audience.
Yeah, maybe, but at the same time, I think this works if you have let's say, a technical audience, but I'm not sure if writers would be interested in, okay, I click here and then I cannot change the word.
No, not that. What you just showed us, the actual feature.
Yeah.
That there is a bug in there still makes you human and relatable.
Yeah.
It makes you more than just plot maniac, yet another company. Like, I mean, his tool, like Martin is talking about, it's not dissimilar to yours. It's a note-taking app, and he has a couple of different approaches of the videos he makes, but my point is just so far from what you are building, your audience has seen very, very, very little. And I think there is a lot of cool things to see. They've seen it if they watch CoStarting, but I don't know if they are, right?
Yeah, probably. Oh yeah, and also another thing, this autosave thingy, I need to get rid of it because it's annoying the hell out of me while developing it even. And yeah, I can just imagine the struggles people have when they later use the tool. So there must be a button somewhere where people can automatically save, or manually at least. So yeah, but
I
these
need
are like,
autosave. Oh,
yeah, I mean autosave will still be
non-autosave
there,
is
but
dangerous
not
for me.
but not exclusively, you know, like
Right.
because currently there's no way of saving this. Like if you and
Yeah.
it's making me nervous, you know. I'm like, I changed something. How can I save it? You know, it's like it doesn't work.
Yeah, having the button or at least Control S in the background working,
Yeah, maybe.
it does help. But I think that actually changes, right? Like tools, if the tool actually does work with every keystroke, and some of them do, like Notion, right? It just always is backed up, then it's fine. But yeah, I agree. If it's not 100% reliable yet, just put a button there right next to it.
Yeah, I mean it is reliable, but the way I implemented it is maybe not the best because I implemented it with the intention of not saving too often, because then it wouldn't trigger a write to my database all the time, which is Firebase, and I'm paying for that for every write basically. So that's why I wanted to, yeah, I don't know, limit that a little bit, but yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, they give you.
But I think, but as a text editor, don't you think like an essential thing would be to undo and redo rather than
Yeah,
autosave? Because if you make a mistake,
I
your
know.
cat crosses over your keyboard, deletes the stuff that you've been working on for the last 30 minutes, and autosaves. I
Yeah, I
think
know.
that undo is maybe essential. Yeah.
I mean, it still works. I mean, I can use all the let's say the key thingies. You know, like
Okay, I
if
see.
I use my keyboard and stuff, I just don't have a button here, which I yeah, maybe at some point I'll implement that. I mean, there are many things that I plan on doing. Also, like an editing history or like multiple editors and stuff like that on a story. And there are like so many things that I can imagine implementing, but currently I just need the basics to be done. So it's yeah. Yeah, I think if I have these 4 thingies done, so just to recap real quick, like the autosave thingy, you see now it's saved, for example. Then the story templates and drafts and so on, which we're working on currently. This should be done soon. And then, of course, like the scene section here should be a little bit, yeah.
For the templates, is it like if someone wants to write a movie script, you'll give them an example of that, like an outline of how that's done?
That's the idea, but currently I just focus on, yeah, well, let's say, I don't want to say necessarily novels only, but it's like more, yeah, like, let's say written stories, kind of like, yeah, books in general. Also, not even technical books, you know, because there are like, yeah, a lot of different books. So creative storytelling. Currently, there is a very cool app that does the movie thing already, and this is used by big companies. And yeah, but I mean, I just know a little bit about writing stories or writing books, and I know nothing about creating a movie. So there is still a lot to do. So that's why I thought I'll start with this. And yeah, but I want to expand that, of course, to any kind of story or any kind of, let's say any kind of story.
Yeah.
That would be great if Bloodmania could provide that at some point, but I think there's still a long way to go and a lot of motivation to have.
No, that's cool. I think
you're close. You're close. You're much closer than you think you are.
Yeah, I also, yeah, you're right. Oh yeah, and oh no, I forgot the user profile also doesn't work. So this is.
Can you remove it?
bonus. Yeah, I could, but then people cannot change their passwords or usernames or whatever. But I'm not sure if that's.
Does that matter if you don't have users?
No, it doesn't. Yeah, that's why I haven't implemented it yet. So
Right.
let's see if I can do it by the 1st of May, then there will be just the logout button, and yeah,
Because
editing comes later.
you've been in some of these ventures with me. Some of them actually, established companies where we didn't have that functionality. The only way to do it was contacting the company, and that's fine. That's not great, but that's fine.
Yeah, it's true. You're right.
That is a good. I just read this on Twitter actually from someone. I mention him all the time. This is a testimonial TO guy, and he said a couple of weeks or months ago, someone asked me to have the functionality to import a testimonial from a LinkedIn post, and I didn't do it because that user never even signed up. It's not a user. Today, a paying user asked me to do it, and I did it right away. Right?
Yeah, nice.
So, a wish list is all that is. It's a wish list, but if it doesn't matter if no one actually is impacted by it. Once your first customer asks to change a password, implement it instead of manually changing it.
Yeah, it's true. You're right. It makes sense, totally.
Because then you're quick, right? Like I know you're a good developer, so once you have customers, they'll kick you in overdrive. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think that's really what it is. Like currently, it feels a little bit daunting, but once I have people actually that are using it, or maybe nobody uses it, then it's also good. Then I know I don't need to continue.
Well, then we'll talk about marketing.
Yeah. But yeah, once I have people using it, then everything will be way more exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
So that's my status so far.
That was a quick 4 minutes.
Yeah.
No, this is good. So we didn't get kicked out of the live stream. So I think these peer groups don't have such a strict timeline. We're just lucky that Justin wasn't here today. Otherwise, we would be even more overtime. To rub it in one more time. This is cool. I have a couple of notes. I'll follow up with you guys. Steve, I'll send you that contract template I mentioned. And then I don't know if you guys saw earlier, I have been challenged to tweet every day and blog every week, which is, I'm surprised no one has asked before. So I'll try to do that now. And I have a couple of nice things from our discussion from today. So thanks for that.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Cool.
That's 10,000 Dogecoin, please.
I don't even have that many. It's been down again. But that's
is it?
Yeah, luckily.
I was gonna buy some. Is it?
No, don't do it, man. No? Really, don't. You will lose money 100%.
Well, if I wait on it 6-7 years, maybe I don't know.
No, for sure not.
If you have blackjack money, that's what I call it. If you have money you can gamble with.
Yeah.
Right. Dogecoin is by design an inflationary. I don't even know if that word is correct. Whatever currency, so it makes more and more coins, and there is no limit on it. So it will keep going forever. It's not good if you buy them now and wait 7 years. It will be worth even less.
That's what they thought 7 years ago, and now look.
Yeah. No, Dogecoin is really not something you should invest in.
I tend to agree, actually. It doesn't have any inherent value, but right now it's flying, so.
I mean, just to catch something that might take off again, and then you miss out again.
Yeah, you need to really be almost a day trader and really be on top of this stuff right now if you want to cash in on the hype.
Oh, right.
But I don't think it's worth it. You're gonna lose a lot of time, or you're gonna spend a lot of time and maybe not make much money doing so.
Yeah.
And you're gonna lose a lot of time and a lot of money.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, guys.
Bye, guys.
Awesome as always. you all have big updates by next week. I think everyone is in a very interesting stage in their business right now.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait.
I will
All
be
right.
sick next
See you
week.
guys.
I'll
No,
see you
just
next week.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.